Welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at the recent news about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Cheryl Hines. You guys sent in a really interesting article from People magazine from October 4th, and it seems like it's kind of a fascinating look at how public figures navigate these personal matters with the media watching their every move.
Yeah, it's that classic case, the private lives of these public figures, particularly ones with political ambitions, are always under such intense scrutiny.
Yeah, absolutely. And this People article is really kind of jumps right in. He says that Hines and RFK Jr. have barely spoken since the news broke about his alleged relationship with the reporter Olivia Newsy. What kind of impact can this public silence have in this kind of situation?
Well, silence can be really powerful,
Right.
It can be a way to control what people are saying, at least to some degree. I mean, think about it. In politics and celebrity, every single thing you do, every single thing you don't asterisk do, it's all analyzed for meaning. So by not saying anything directly, they're kind of leaving it open to interpretation, right?
Yeah, and the article says that a source close to Hines says that she's really embarrassed by this whole thing,
Oh, absolutely.
and understandably so.
Of course, it's one thing to deal with these kinds of issues in your relationship privately, but when it's blasted all over the media, that adds a whole other level of complexity to it. And, the article says that Hines has been spending a lot of time in Europe since the news broke, attending all kinds of events. So that could be a very deliberate strategy there, a way to project this image of everything's fine.
Like a very public display of "I'm fine."
Right, exactly. Everything's fine. Or it could just be her way of stepping away from all the chaos for a bit, trying to get some sense of control back in a situation where she probably feels like she has none. And public figures often use these appearances strategically, don't they?
And, it is interesting you mentioned projecting this image, because then the article goes on to talk about how Hines has been at all these Fashion Week things,
Oh, right.
which seems like a very deliberate choice.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to project an image of "I'm fine," Fashion Week is where you do it.
Totally. It's all about image, isn't it? About seeing and being seen. So by being at these events with all the cameras flashing, she's putting herself right in the middle of this world that's obsessed with how things look. So yeah, you could definitely see it as her trying to deflect attention away from all the personal drama.
And it's not just her by herself. The article mentions she brought her daughter Catherine Young to some of these things.
Yeah.
What do you make of that? Bringing family into it.
Well, it adds a whole other layer to the story, right? It's like she's saying, hey, look, family life, everything's normal. It could be her way of emphasizing that she's a mom, first and foremost, that she's this stable figure, even with all this stuff swirling around her husband.
And it wasn't even just her asterisk daughter there. The article mentions that RFK Jr.'s daughter, Kyra Kennedy, was with them too. She even walked in the Gucci show with Hines there watching.
Oh, wow, really? That's interesting given everything else that's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, it does make you wonder if they're trying to show everyone that there's still one big, happy family, that whatever's happening between the parents, the kids are still a priority.
It's like this whole narrative is about presenting a united front right. From not saying anything asterisk when the news first came out, to now showing up at Fashion Week like this big happy family, makes you wonder what's behind it all. Are they trying to protect the kids from public scrutiny? Or is this damage control for RFK Jr. in his political career?
It's hard to say for sure unless we're in those rooms with them. But if you look back, there are tons of examples of politicians with scandals. And they all handle it differently. Some disappear completely, hoping everyone forgets about it. Others face it head on. And some try to control how the story gets told. So yeah, in this case, the silence at first and now this whole family thing, it could definitely be their way of trying to minimize the fallout.
And they keep hammering home this family thing. The article mentions Hines celebrated her birthday, and she posted a picture with both daughters with the caption, "Me and my girls."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. It seems simple enough, right? But knowing everything else, there's got to be more to it than just a birthday post. It's like she's pushing back against this idea of a family torn apart by infidelity.
So we've got this carefully curated image of total family bliss, all while this scandal is playing out publicly. And then the article throws in this detail about Hines's wedding ring.
Or I guess I should say lack of a wedding ring.
Yeah, exactly. So the article says she was wearing 2 bands on her left ring finger before, but now there's only one.
Yeah.
It seems like such a small thing, but it feels really significant in this whole situation, doesn't it?
Oh, totally. It's like we're hardwired to analyze every little thing in these kinds of situations looking for clues, right?
Yeah.
Is she trying to send RFK Jr. a message? Or is this just a coincidence that's blown way out of proportion because everyone's looking for drama?
I know, it's like trying to figure out a secret code or something.
Yeah.
But it brings up a bigger question, doesn't it? What happens now? Can they come back from this after everything's been so public?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, right? I mean, history's full of public figures dealing with infidelity. Some come out stronger on the other side, some don't. It really depends. Like, how strong was their relationship to begin with? Are they willing to forgive? And in these cases, how much will it hurt his career?
Yeah, that's a good point. We haven't even touched on how this could affect RFK Jr. politically, especially after he ran for president before. Could this be a huge setback for him?
It could be. People can be pretty unforgiving, and voters tend to hold politicians to really high standards. Fair or not, that's how it is. So this could make people see him as someone who makes bad decisions, and, his opponents will definitely use that against him.
It's wild how much your personal life gets mixed up with how the public sees you when you're in the spotlight, isn't
No,
it?
it's unavoidable, really. If you want to be in politics or even just famous, every little thing you do, every relationship, it all gets put under a microscope. And social media just makes it that much more intense.
Well said. It really makes you think. So that's another deep dive in the books. We've uncovered some pretty interesting details about RFK Jr. and Cheryl Hines, and it goes to show how public perception and personal lives can collide, especially when you're dealing with high-profile figures and scandals. But remember, there's always more to this story than meets the eye. So the next time you find yourself reading a headline or scrolling through social media, take a moment to consider the bigger picture. And remember, there are real people with real lives behind those stories. Until next time.